Have you guys ever heard a pellet gun break the sound barrier? Did you hear it? Now I'll shoot one of these that won't break the sound barrier and see if you hear a difference. And now we'll shoot another one of these that will break the sound barrier and see if you can hear it. By the way, these are the Gamo hunting pellets. By far the most expensive pellet I've ever seen in my life, but it's obviously going quite a bit faster than the other ones. Give you a closer look at it. It's a super long pellet with like a black polymer sleeve, I guess, to prevent deforming and keep it more accurate at long range. I don't think there's any lead on this pellet at all. And then it has the hard metal tip right there on the end of it. That is so cool. I hope you guys can hear that on camera, but it's like shooting a suppressed .22 rifle or something. I've never heard a pellet break the sound barrier like that. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all joining me today. So we're back with some more bulletproof glass in today's video. Now, we've pretty well lit this thing up over the last few videos, but I have a couple more experiments that I want to try with this before I completely get rid of it. So if you haven't seen the first video, check it out. I will link it at the top of the screen here. Just got demonetized today, by the way, after 3 weeks of being perfectly fine. Makes sense, right? But in the comments to that video, I heard from some of you guys who told me that this is technically not glass and it's probably some sort of polycarbonate, which is why it wasn't shattering when we were shooting it and why it blew my mind so much in that first video. So we can take a look here at some of these bullet impacts, and I've pretty much shot this thing with every gun that I have. You can see that right there is a 12 gauge shotgun slug, which was incredible to see. But you can see that no matter what we shot this thing with, none of those bullets were shattering the glass at all. This is a Magnum I did with the binary AK trigger. That was kind of stupid because that really didn't show us anything, but it's just really amazing to see the way that this stuff contains bullet impacts, and it's just the coolest bulletproof glass I've ever seen. So, but in that first video, we learned that this stuff is pretty much rated to stop pistols and shotguns. Like I said, it stopped a 12 gauge shotgun slug, but when we stepped up to the AK and the AR, those just zipped right through it, no problem. So the obvious test that everyone does with stuff like this is one bullet from each gun and then work your way up as you go, which is what we did in the first video. But every time I watch those videos, I'm always curious, what if they shot multiple rounds? You know, bad guys typically don't shoot one round and then stop. They might unload an entire magazine on it. So today we're gonna shoot this thing with some rounds that it is rated to stop, but see how many rounds does it take to actually get through. And we have some different calibers out here today as well. So before we start dumping some magazines into this stuff, I wanna try a couple of the calibers that we didn't try in the first video. So there was about 15 different calibers that people were asking me to try, but one of the most common was the 357 Magnum. And unfortunately, I don't have a 357 Magnum, but I do have the 357 SIG, which is kind of designed to be the semi-automatic version of the 357 Magnum. So we're gonna hit it with this and see what it does. Now I'm gonna put this one below our tape so we can leave that part untouched for later in the video. But put your guesses down below. I don't think this is gonna get through it. Let's check it out. All right, our 357 SIG hit right there towards the edge of the glass. And if we go around to the backside here, you can see that it did not come out the other side. But I gotta say, that has to be the coolest looking bullet that we've trapped inside that glass. You can literally see the entire bullet in there. So it didn't go all the way through, but that was pretty cool. Let's try another one. Another caliber that I saw a ton of comments asking about was the 5.7. Now I really want a 5.7 pistol, but I don't have one yet. What I do have is the 22 TCM 9R. It's a little fat, ugly bullet. But this is ballistically similar to the 5.7. I'm not gonna say it's quite as good, but it is a really high velocity 22 caliber projectile, probably going close to 2,000 feet per second. So let's see what it does to our bulletproof glass. I don't think this is gonna get through, but I think this has a better chance than the 357 SIG just because it's going so fast. Let's see. Good God. I forgot this thing put out a fireball like that. Holy crap. So I've said in previous videos that the 357 SIG is the loudest pistol that I own. I take all that back. The 22 TCM has to be the loudest pistol that I own. That thing is a cannon. All right, here is our impact from the 22 TCM 9R. And you can see there's something kind of hanging out of there. It looks like maybe pieces of the glass. I'm not really sure. It doesn't look like lead though. But if we go around to the back, you can see here that the 22 TCM also did not make it all the way through. It does look like to me that it came closer than our 357 SIG. In real life, you can see the layers of glass when you're looking at it. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it looks like the 22 TCM 9R is closer to exiting out the back. But neither one of them made it all the way through. So I can't definitively say that the 5.7 would not make it through either. But the 22 TCM did defeat soft body armor that like a 9mm and a 40 wouldn't defeat. So it's definitely got more penetration power than a standard pistol caliber, but the 5.7 might give us a better result. I'm not really sure. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of the calibers that people were asking to see, but obviously I'm working on that, and hopefully down the road we can have all the guns in the world. But I do have one more that I want to try before we move on to our experiment for today. So this is the 9mm Underwood Extreme Penetrator. This is going about 1,300 feet per second. It's a little beast. I've shot stuff with these before that 9mm wouldn't go through, and these rip right through them. So let's see what it does to our bulletproof glass. I'm leaning towards no, it probably won't make it through, but let's see. So I'm not even kidding. I saw my reflection in this bulletproof glass when I was walking up to it, and it scared the crap out of me. I'm an idiot. But here is our impact from the Underwood Extreme Penetrator. It's that one right there. And again, you can see that entire bullet in that glass. But from here, it almost looks like it might be sticking out the other side. I can't really tell. Okay, no, it's not sticking out the other side, but it did come super close. That is impressive, man. That's a 9mm bullet that almost defeated this bulletproof glass. And again, for a reminder, there's our 357 SIG. Barely bulged it out at all and still had a lot of glass left before it even came close. So didn't come all the way through, but man, that's about as close as you could get. So I forgot to tell you guys, I got a new magazine for my concealed carry gun. Is it too much? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for this video, I broke out the 33 round 9mm Glock magazine. So the 9mm is one of the calibers that I want to use for this, even though I don't have enough ammo to be doing stuff like this. But obviously we had to break out a little happy stick mag. And I also got one for the 40 cal too. This is a 40 caliber 33 round mag. Now this is a pro mag. This is not the Glock mag like the 9mm. So it'll probably jam 100 times during the video. But I had to bring both of these out because what's cooler than that? So the 9 and the 40 I think are the two best calibers to do this with because they're super common and I don't have enough 45 ACP. That's another one that I would like to test this on, but the 9 and the 40 should work just fine, and we can see how many shots from each of these it takes to get through that glass. Now it's gonna be hard to keep this scientific because you're relying on my accuracy. I'm not gonna be able to get all these bullets in the exact same hole, and I might get, you know, better accuracy with the 9 or better accuracy with the 40, and then it's not gonna be scientific. This is just for fun, so don't read too much into these results. All right guys, we're starting with the 9mm extended magazine, of course, which I probably don't even need because I only have 10 rounds in here, but after seeing that Extreme Penetrator, I don't think it's gonna take as many rounds as I thought. Plus I don't have a ton of 9mm ammo, so we're gonna start with 10 and see if we need more after that. I have my steel torso plate behind the glass, and I'm just gonna aim at that through the glass, and if we hear one hit, we know we'll made it through, so let's do it. We're gonna have to move up. So I know this sounds like an excuse, but hopefully the video will verify this, but with the sun shining down through the trees the way it was, and the smoke from the gunshots, I literally lost my line of sight after like the second or third shot. So here is our group from our first 10 9mm bullets. And you can see the group's not bad, like it's pretty tight. I would say a little bigger than a fist, but it's not tight enough. And I really need to keep these bullets in a small area if we're gonna chew through this glass. So we're gonna scoot up a few yards, still safe obviously, and hopefully I'll be able to keep those shots in a tighter group. Plus I'm gonna slow down a little bit and actually focus, you know, on where I'm shooting. I just kind of dumped that first 10 pretty quick, but I'm gonna shoot a little bit slower from here on out, see if we can hit the same spot. I warned you that this wouldn't be scientific. All right, now I'm up a little bit closer and I moved my steel torso plate closer to the bulletproof glass as well so that it's not as hard to align the shots. But I got 15 more rounds and our 30 round magazine here. Let's see if we can get through it. Put your guesses down below. I think it's gonna be more difficult than I thought because getting that tight of a group is not gonna be easy, but it is realistic because in a violent encounter with bulletproof glass, they're not gonna be getting all their bullets in the same exact hole. It would be a group, obviously, so here we go. I'm knocking it over. All right. Man, 25 rounds, no pass-throughs. So I obviously need to find something to reinforce the other side of this so it doesn't keep falling every time I shoot it. But just a quick look here, obviously I had a few flyers, especially when the glass started moving, it was kind of hard to keep them all in the same spot. But you can see the majority of those are hitting right in the same area. And there's a ton of bullets just piled on top of each other right there. But if you look at the front side here, you can see it's actually swelling out that way where the bullets are impacting. It's swelling on the front. But if you go around to the back, there's no deformation whatsoever. It is completely smooth on the back side here, but you can see where a lot of those bullets are just stacking on top of each other inside of that glass. Now, like I said, there was a few flyers, especially when the glass started moving. I noticed my shots kind of stringing off to the side, but this is turning out to be a tougher task than I originally thought. And the fact that we're getting swelling in the front and not the back kind of tells me it's going to be pretty difficult to get all the way through this stuff. Again, because it's not shattering and we can't just chip away at it. It's literally just trapping all these bullets and containing them before they even get to the third and fourth layers of the glass. Crazy. All right, hopefully our new reinforcement helps, but I have 15 more rounds and our 30 round magazine here, and I really want to try to get through this with just regular ball ammo, but if this doesn't work, then I might have to try something different because this ain't easy. All right, let's see. 15 more. That has never happened before. I've never had a malfunction in this gun. I don't think ever. Incredible, incredible. What is that? 40 rounds in the exact same spot, not getting through. All right, so obviously right here is where I'm aiming, and I mean, there's about 15 bullets right there just piled on top of each other, so much so that it's breaking the glass out from the front. And I really hope you guys can see all of those bullets in there because there's a ton of them. Now, if we go around to the back side, once again, there's absolutely no damage or deformation on the backside of this glass. That is insane. I did not think this was gonna happen. I thought it might take 10 to 15 rounds maybe, and eventually we would just kind of start poking through the back. But it honestly looks like this thing could take 100 rounds in the exact same spot and have nothing come out the back, at least with this kind of ammo. So I think it's safe to say that even if a bad guy did an entire mag dump in the exact same spot with a 9mm pistol, you're safe. That was really what I wanted to learn in this video, and I think we've learned that it doesn't matter how many rounds you shoot, they ain't getting through. All right, guys, that's 40 rounds of 9mm ball ammo in a very small area, and nothing's even close to making it all the way through. So like I said, I think it's safe to say that I answered my question, and if someone unloaded an entire magazine in the same spot on that bulletproof glass that we have here, it ain't getting through. It does not matter. It's bulletproof, literally. So I went ahead and put 5 of these extreme penetrators and the magazine, and I'm gonna see if we can get through with 5 of these right on top of each other. What's interesting is it's almost like the bullets that are getting caught in the glass are creating even another barrier for the following rounds to have to get through. So they're just piling on top of each other and kind of bulging out towards us. Nothing is getting through to the backside. So let's see if the penetrators have any better luck. They're definitely going higher than the ball rounds were. I'm aiming at the exact same spot, just a couple inches over, and all 5 of those went like 2 inches higher. So I got a few more, let's see. I give up. Well, I'm honestly shocked right now. So here's where our extreme penetrators were going, and you can see that they're a couple inches higher. I was trying to kind of put them around here, and they definitely were going high. I even had one that looks like it kind of missed altogether. It hit the very top of the glass there. And then again, where we were chewing at it before. But with the extreme penetrators, I think I shot like 12 of them total, maybe 11 or 12. They're definitely in a pretty tight group up there. And if you look at it from the top, I think it's just because they were hitting so high, but they did start to split the glass in half. And you can kind of see where it's starting to come apart there. And then on the back side, we do have, if the sun wasn't messing us up, but we have a couple that almost exited out the other side, and they even put like pretty good sized holes in the back side of that glass, but the bullets themselves did not come out the back. So my original plan with this video was to compare the 9mm with the 40 and shoot however many it took with the 9 and then however many it took with the 40. But I've shot like 50 rounds of 9mm at this thing, all in the, a pretty small area, and nothing is getting through. That was the last of my extreme penetrators, and even they did not get all the way through. So I guess I'll just move up to the 40 and start piling more rounds on top of this and see if we can shoot through this thing with the 40 caliber. But as far as doing this all over again with the 40, I don't think I'm gonna do that, because number one, it would get super repetitive, and the 40 is more powerful than the 9mm obviously, but it's not that much more powerful. And the way that this stuff is stopping the 9, I think we would be out here for quite a while trying to get through it with the 40 as well. So I'm just gonna start piling 40 calibers on top of our 9mm and see if we can get through this thing at all. I'm literally shocked. All right, 15 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson. Wish me luck. All right, that was 10, and something bounced back close to my foot, so we're gonna step back a little further. So I found this on the ground a few feet in front of where I was shooting, and that is an entire 40 caliber bullet. It's still super hot. So now it looks like the bullets are just hitting and bouncing back. They're not even trying to go through. They gave up too. I mean, do you guys even wanna see me continue to shoot this thing? It seems like it's starting to get pretty repetitive at this point, and I feel like we're getting literally nowhere. All right, here's the damage so far after 10 40 cals on top of the other 80 or whatever that we've already shot it with. But you can see it is starting to break a little bit right there. And if you get down here, you can really see how it's starting to separate. And we even have, oh no, I shoved it back in there further. I wanted to grab that because that's just, it's like a big old, there we go, yes. So that looks like probably a 40 caliber bullet, and they're just all over the ground. Here's another one. Feels like a 40. This right here looks like probably a 9. I mean, there's bullets everywhere. And so this is not even all of them. There's a bunch of them stuck in there. Here's another one. It is cool, it's really cool. But as far as me shooting it, I'm starting to get a little tired, I'm not gonna lie to you, because I've just shot this thing over and over and over and over and over and over. and it's stopping everything I throw at it. When you really look at it, I don't know how well you guys can see it on camera, but we're not even close. Like, we're not even halfway through this thing. The extreme penetrators were the closest that we came, and they did come pretty close. Other than that, none of these pistol rounds are getting anywhere near coming through this stuff. It really goes to show you how much better at penetrating rifles are than pistols, because one AK and one AR bullet, and they both zipped straight through this thing, no problem. But 60 or 70 pistol rounds, and we're not even close. I bet there's 30 bullets in this little 3-inch area right here. And honestly, it looks like the only reason it's even breaking is because it's filling up with so many bullets that it's pushing it out this way. It doesn't even look like they're thinking about going into that third layer. All right, 10 more with the 40 cal. All right, so we have our first bit of real damage, or it looks like this front piece is about to come off. Yep, just popped right off. And then behind it, you can actually see where all those bullets have been hitting. And again, they're all just basically getting trapped right there in that first layer of glass. So it looks like now from the top you can see there is a really thin layer, a thick layer, another thick layer, and then another thin layer. And it looks like the majority of what we've shot is getting trapped in the first thick layer and not even really damaging the second thick layer, at least from what I'm seeing back here. Now this is interesting. That's some damage that I hadn't seen before. So it looks like it is maybe doing a little bit of damage back there, but still no swelling, no deformation, no nothing anywhere except for the extreme penetrators that we shot. And again, you can see where all those bullets are getting trapped in the front of this bulletproof glass. So I think I might be throwing in the towel on this one, guys. The bulletproof glass is gonna get the victory over me today because I give up. I don't think I'm gonna get through this no matter how many times I shoot it, at least not in the first few hundred rounds. Maybe at 500 or 600 rounds, something might get through, but we're closing in on 100 rounds and we have not even come close to getting through this thing. And now it looks like bullets are just hitting the other bullets and bouncing off and not really doing any more damage. The 40 did cause that first piece that was really thin to kind of peel off. But again, I think that was mainly from just bullets piling up and causing it to swell, and that is causing it to crack and break off the front. I don't really think it's doing any damage to the inside of the bulletproof glass. So this stuff is super impressive. By far the coolest bulletproof glass I've ever seen. I said that in the last video, but I mean, this just proves the point even more. This stuff is literally bulletproof. And if I was a high profile target or had a really dangerous job like the president or something, this is the bulletproof glass that I would want protecting me, because this stuff is ridiculous. The only thing that I can think of that would be better is stuff that's just like this, that's rated to stop rifles, because as we saw, the AK and the AR zipped right through it, which goes to show you again, the penetrating power of rifles is super impressive, because as far as pistols go, this stuff is literally bulletproof, and it's amazing. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Not the result that I was expecting today. That rarely happens. Usually I have a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen in the videos. I'm surprised a lot, but not quite like this. I just did not anticipate this. And again, with the ammo shortage going on and everything like that, I just don't think it's worth it to sit out here and pump 400 rounds into this thing and regret it in the long run, because we still might not get through it. But either way, I had fun. I hope you guys did too. Let me know in the comments if you're as impressed as I am, because I'm actually shocked by this. This is not what I saw coming at all. So if you liked the video, guys, please let me know in the comments. And as always, hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.